Let's go.
Come on. Live from the classics, back from the masses. Shadow of a titan with the swagger of a maverick. Live and direct, mind in a sec. With the rhymes I collide and divide and connect. I ain't got nothing to lose, I'm too strong. What you got, something to prove or move on? I've been stuck playing this game for too long, so I'ma speak up when my mic is switched on.
Oh my God, what a sick round! The end of the round in both those rounds was crazy.
All right, let's go. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Rushdown Live, Episode 3, The Art of Training. Yes, I'm actually going to be playing some training mode today with you guys and show you what I would do to prepare for the next big event. Or, of course, if you guys are beginners, what do you do in training mode? And more specifically, what I'm going to display is we're going to talk about execution. We're going to talk about strategy, and then we're going to talk about innovation. Those are the three main components in what I, grind in for so I can beat some ass in the next tournament. But of course, there's this is a special week because I am going to be fighting my old-time rival Daigo on Thursday at the Mad Catz Unveiled event. On Arcade Edition, so there's a lot of stuff for me to go over, and especially I wanted to make just a little tribute to our history of me and Mr. Umahara. So without further ado, let's before I get into the training, I always like to take a step back and see, all right, how I played in my youth and like what gets me motivated to get better, so and we didn't have training mode back in the days. We didn't have it for all we had to do was arcade. We had to go to the arcade and grind it out. Training mode was beating the guy next to you. So there's like we didn't really sit back and just strategize. We just, all right, I'm better than you, and that was it. You don't really like practice your execution or practice strategy. You just want to play the game. You just want to beat the guy. You don't really care about thinking about all this little stuff. So, but yeah, let's take it back a little bit, back to a little year called 1998. This is when I first played Daigo at it was the Alpha 3 World Tournament, and I was the American national champion, and the national champion of each country gets to play each other for the title. And let's bring it up. There it is. Let's go. Yeah, I'm rocking the wife beater, as you see. And for those of you guys that don't know, the reason why I wore like tank tops to tournaments is because it got so damn hot after a while, and I just didn't want to sweat like crazy in there. But things to notice in here. Let me put it on full screen. So Daigo was in this tournament watching the entire time, and like I knew that, and he's a national champion for a reason. They study their game a lot, and we were, I guess, coming out of winning most of the Alpha 2 tournaments. I was starting to study like more of my game and everybody else's game rather than just mindlessly playing hundreds of people. So knowing that Daigo was watching, I had to hold back on the national tournament because I played Aism Ryu, and I refused to use my main strategy was Vism Ryu, and only SoCal knew that I used Vism this powerful at the time. So, but one of the players from NorCal, made me switch into V-Ryu, and Daigo saw quite a few of my setups. So I kind of knew what he was watching and what he was watching out for. So I had to make sure I didn't show him everything. And there's a lot to it. A lot of things that people don't understand when they're watching, like this stuff. And so going at the match, it was weird. It wasn't 2 out of 3 as normal, rounds. It was 3 out of 5 rounds. Usually those are sets. 3 out of 5 sets. You heard of that? That's normal. But 3 out of 5 rounds, that's like Tekken or a 3D type of rounds. And in a tournament, you're trying to pull out all your tricks, all the things that nobody's seen, or have really, really solid play. And that's what I trained for. I didn't train for like longer sets. So even though I'm playing guys that I should be beating all the time, like whatever, they put their quarters in, I beat them like 20, whatever in a row. When it comes to when you're playing a top player that you have no idea what they do, no knowledge of their character, you're gonna have to try to hold all your tricks up. And the thing that I had over Daigo in this match is the ground game. And if you guys pay close attention, that's where I did most of my damage. And yeah, the only gimmicky thing I did was the Viasm. I did the sweep, knock him down. He didn't really know how to deal with it at first because he didn't see it that much. So the strength about Daigo is his adaptation of what he started to do to it afterwards. And the other strength, of course, he had a superior custom combo, superior setups. His ground game was really good. However, I have experience with Shoto match, so there's only so much he can do that I haven't seen or I'm not used to, because I've been trained by the greats in Shoto play, and yeah, that was part 1. As you saw, without going in too much detail of what was going on there, is just that was the first time of us playing, all right, the very first time. So there was a lot of, I would say, downloading on each end. Okay, so yeah, he's seen kind of like what I do with my Viasms, and he's trying to counter strategize versus it. And he knows that I have a strong ground game, so he knows he can't wild out unless he does something I haven't seen yet. So now I'm thinking, this is like, I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm thinking, yeah, this guy's ground game's not that good, so I just just keep doing what I'm doing, or just finish him off, right? Well, coming to the second game, I'm trying to finish him. So it's kind of underestimating his adaptation skills. So that was the biggest mistake here. And knowing my style is not really, went over it for a second, is that I do like to take a lot of risks, but back then I took way many risks just because I exploited the fact that people didn't understand the system of the game. He didn't know that he could punish my heroes to make it game, right? But in Daigo's case, he was, oh, he's going to do that, then I'm going to maximize my damage every time he does it. Or I am going to, it's the reason of downloading. If you underestimate a top player, you'll never know when you're going to turn the perfect training person. And you're going to make it pay for it. So that's what happened here. There's no way for me to tell you this back then. I would have said, man, I should have beaten him all this stuff and yada yada. But looking back, you got to respect the fact that he came over here, and this is R.T.S.D. It's home court advantage is really hard to win, because going to Japan, not many Americans really had any success doing any damage in Japanese tournaments, especially with SBO and everything like that. So you can imagine only one Japanese player came down to facing the ultimate finals. The crowd is cheering all that. You have all that behind your back, so it's nerve-wracking. So it takes a lot more skill than you would imagine dealing with all this stuff and trying to adapt to a foreign play. So from the get-go, I knew Daigo is an amazing player. I've never played anybody like this. It's like a machine. You have a counter to everything. He analyzes this really well. You can't really just get away with gimmicks too long versus this guy. And I can tell you, back then, American play was a lot of gimmicky stuff. Everybody had really cool things that they can trick you with, and tournament matches are only 2 out of 3, and that's what we train for. And what you do is you use your secondary or even your third string character to hide those tricks, and you probably heard this before. So when in relevance to this match, remember I try to hide my ideas and move from the entire tournament because I knew the international champion, Japanese champion, was watching. And I knew that was a key element to my success and how, if he did adapt to what I was doing, it would be too late. But he perfectly countered. Like, I was up. All I had to do was win. I didn't come out. So imagine if I would have won this match, and then the history would have been painted. What would I do with this type of title? And I mentioned before, if I would have won, I probably would have retired because what's next? The world champion. Maybe I'll enter another world tournament or something. But that was my mindset. I couldn't believe what's presented. And until you come to the realization that there are players that can dissect the game no matter how good. Like during the most crucial match of the game. It is what it is. It's gonna happen. It's happening to all the guys. It's happening to Martin, to Jeff, to John, myself, and even the boy at the time in front of me. So, arcade training, playing like 100 guys, getting this far is. Everything from then on was like muscle memory. That's what that meant. Muscle memory, how to fight certain guys. It's just I didn't really go to arcade to practice the strategy. I would practice, or the only times I would practice sort of like that would be versus the computer, trying to beat the game in different ways, different like modes, X mode, using mode. And just see how the computer reacts to all this stuff. Maybe they have a crazy kind of play. Because back then you had to pay for your games, right? You're not always gonna get a friend to like, hey, spend a quarter so to see if this trick works or something. You would have to test it in play, versus somebody spending. There's the last part right here.
Alex will stay with Ryu.
They're spending their money on on this stuff. So you'd have to be creative in how to train for all this stuff. Maybe you have friends that are analytical and more of the brain thinkers, but not the performers. They have really good scratch in mind, but they really can't physically do it, or they don't have enough, I guess, I don't know what you call it. have the heart or motivation to play other players. They have, you know, crazy execution, they have insight and all this stuff, but strategy wise, they might not be the ones that start the game. It take them a while to really break something down. So, and you know, luckily I had a lot of friends that said, hey, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. And you're thinking, if you're winning a tournament already, you're like the best in the arcade, what advice could somebody possibly give you? You take all that advice as much as and really think about it. Maybe they are right. You know, get off your high horse. You know, if you're a top player already, or you're on your way, you know, that's all free information for you. You know, you're lucky to have people to explain the stuff to you, and, you know, give you the time of day. And I treated those players and those people with utmost respect. You know, even though I was like a little cocky kid back then, you know, with Watson, for them to actually like say, hey, you know, I see you do this a lot, and no one will be like, no, nobody did this. You can't already dismiss it. Right? But if you listen up to it and say, hey, you know, what would you suggest I switch it up with? You know, then just start a conversation. You meet a buddy, and sometimes you need people like that. Actually, not sometimes. You do need people like that in your circle if you're gonna take this seriously. And that's what I did. I didn't just go out hang out with the best players. I didn't have anybody and everybody that I could fighting with because you know I thought everything was interesting. Coming up, people play characters that top players wouldn't give a time of day to. And I'm like, why did you know, Sodom before anybody knew like Sodom was any good. And lo and behold, once somebody found something really good, you were already prepared how to escape all the craziness he did, like an Alpha 1 and I was figured out. Luckily, people that played him, like my friend Pt.1, he exploited him. And all we had to do was, our mindset was, don't get knocked down. Don't get knocked down, and then you won't have to deal with that. And that was our only solution, because if you got knocked down, you have to eat that standing out. It's so cheap. It was unblockable. So, you know, how you deal with something like that? So that's the point I'm trying to get at. Training in the arcade. You know, today, modern times, you know, we like to think of training. And I'm gonna go over lots of stuff in the execution, strategy, and innovation segments during training. And just to give you, you know, some more insight of how many hours I used to play back then. It was like a job. You know, you go there when the arcade opens, or when school was out or whatever, and you stay until closing, or pretty much every day of the week. Or, you know, whenever you have free time.
Coming all the way from Japan.
So Daigo won there. Wait. All right. All right. So you guys hear me all right? Just checking with you guys. Oh, turn up my mic. All right. Is this much better, guys? Oh, missed everything. Okay. Oh, the video. Okay. Ah, okay. The video was louder. Okay. Oh, for the past 10 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Well. Okay. If you missed all that stuff, and I truly apologize. Wow, have to start over. We missed your story. All right, how many people watching? 678. Okay. Hit the rewind. All right, all right. Since I botched it up, I am going to restart. I'm gonna take your guys's. Here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the volume off for this. All right. I'm gonna fast forward to the. All right. Now I'm going to just now I'm not gonna go like through the whole thing. So, you know what I mean? It's I'm just gonna summarize what I talked about. So back in this tournament, I had to hold back, and it's because Daigo was watching the event. All right. So I played a Ryu towards the entire tournament, and because that's how it was back then. You had to hold back everything you did, you know, until you needed it. You know, all like the gimmicks, special characters, all that stuff. So, and since like one player, it was Graham Wolf. He busted out. Said his Dalsum was really good, you know, and there was no way for my A Ryu to beat his Dalsum, and so I had switched to V Ryu, and I did things that nobody knew about. You know, I knew some like just a lot of traps with Vism, and that was the main reason why like I did really well with V Ryu at the time, and I'm very well aware that like any top player kind of does that. You know, they're holding back their tricks or something, or they're depending on their solid play. And when I finally got to play Daigo, you know, I counted to where, okay, I have enough tricks that can last for about a 2 out of 3 set or a 3 out of 5. And but what was foreign about this this matchup is that the rounds were 3 out of 5, kind of like Tekken and Soul Calibur has. So it was longer than expected, and my strengths were in the ground game and the the footsies and stuff, and that's where I did most of my damage. And, I mean, as you can saw, some of my Visms were okay, and they confused Daigo, but it wasn't enough because he started to adapt around. See, I was doing really good here and showing him that I have like some good gimmicks and stuff with my Vism, but when I got to game 2, there we go. Sorry about that. Like, he started to catch on, and like a machine, started adapting to everything. You know, he's seen it. He's has very solid play as well with this stuff. So, I needed to just try to shut it down. Like I try to just finish it off, and I got too anxious. And when you get too anxious, you're opening yourself up to many vulnerabilities, and it really sucked because when I was young, I'm like, I'm gonna do what I do and rush that shit down, right? But when you're playing versus somebody that probably has 100 of me in Japan or something that they have played before, then they're just gonna be like, especially Daigo, and I think he mentions this before. He analyzes how you play, and then he fights against it, after the fact. Like, he puts you in a category. So and this is a perfect example. And plus he had gimmicks and stuff that I haven't seen. Like his Vism combo with the red fireball, and if he does the overhead punch, the demon flip afterwards, and low short, that's an unblockable. I didn't know that. So that's why I ended up having to like alpha counter and all that stuff. But anyways, it just showed that he was an amazing player. you know, and obviously somebody of this caliber I haven't played before, you know, and it really, of course, it got to me to where, you know, if I would have won this event, okay, you know, that's me beating everybody in the country, first of all, and second of all, I'd be somebody that, you know, is the champion in Japan, no, most notably the best players in the world. So why would there be any point of me in continuing to play after I did that? I've already achieved that. So I was gonna retire, but obviously it didn't work out that way, and he beat me. So it just shows how, like, the strength of international play. And shortly after this event, you know, the Japanese players and, like, their community, they were so impressed with my play that they invited me, and Choi also went for like a special tournament in Japan. And unfortunately, the sticks that were provided, they tried to put American sticks on Japanese cabinets, and it didn't work out. So we couldn't play to our potential, you know, and it was more of like a novelty visit, unfortunately. But it taught us a lot about the future of how international tournaments should be, at least in the arcade cabinets, should be set up. So it did really set the tone for the future, and I know it was good info for the cannons, for, you know, once they started to you know, do the B5. I think it was about B5 when international players started to come in. Here, let me go back to the. Oops. Yeah. All right. So it was like around B5 is where international players started coming in. So, and the B series is actually Evo before it was Evo, because that was pre-Evo, run by the Cannons and SRK staff. Boss came down. He was at the time the Japanese champion for Alpha 3, and they set the cabinet, a Japanese cabinet, and then they linked it to an American cabinet. So that's what we had to deal with, starting with international play. How are we going to set the tone for the future, and how are we going to accommodate different scenes, you know, that are used to different setups. So yeah, those are the hardships that we had to go through back in the days. And you know, shout outs to the Cannons and everybody working, and the international organizers too back in the days, to accommodate all, like, the international players, so we can play at our best potential, to our fullest potential. Because the last thing you want to do is train on a stick that you can't even use going overseas or wherever you go. So but yeah, going, you know, back to the Daigo match, when I first played them, to train for something like that, you know, you don't really, oh, at the time, it's just beating 100, 1,000 people, or however many people you have. You have no training mode. So I want to actually go straight into training mode now, because I know I did waste a lot of time, and I really, really apologize for the sound. I'm still a stream noob, but yeah, let's go into execution. Now, right before I go that, I'm going to take a little break so I can set up exactly what I want to talk about. So the next segment I'm going to go into is execution, and I'm going to pop in Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. So I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And again, guys, apologies for the audio stuff. So from now on until I understand how to tweak the audio from YouTube and stuff, I'm just gonna mute it and it's gonna talk over it. It'll be much easier for me, and then I'll get used to it. So, all right, we live in the modern world now, and there's training mode for just about every fighting game that there is. Now, casual level, if training mode is boring, why would you want to play against somebody that doesn't move and you just want to beat the story and deal with it and that's it and return it back to GameStop? Well, this section may not be for you. But if you're interested in getting better at the game, then the most important thing, well, not really the most, or maybe some might say is the most important thing that you have to practice is execution. Okay, and these are moves that you're gonna have to repeat hundreds and thousands and millions of times. And I'll even start from just the most basic part of execution is your special move. Okay, if you can do, I don't know, a fireball, right, but consistently without, like, you know, if you're doing down towards and wherever punch button, if you can do that without missing, that's really, really good. I mean, I'm kind of like messing up on that part of execution because sometimes you can see me doing the rush, the rushing fierce punch or crouching fierce. Those are execution errors, and that's crucial because I've lost a couple matches because of that. And in order for me to overcome something like that, I have a little training session specifically for fireball training, and I have it up right now. So if you guys are aspiring Ryu players and talking about execution, if you can't perform your special move when it's absolutely necessary to have, that's going to cost you the game. It can be a fireball, it can be an uppercut, a dash punch, a spinning pile driver, sonic boom, a flash kick, a super, an ultra. You're going to lose much opportunity. And as basic as this sounds, this is part of training. You have to go in training mode and literally practice these moves, because the last thing you want to do is, you know, start the round and you get a crouching fierce, right, when you're trying to do a fireball. And let me show you a little training session I do with the fireball game right now. So the computer is set to throw a fireball in the beginning of the round as fast as he can, right? And so am I. So the game that I try to play here is whoever messes up first, or well, the computer is never going to mess up. It's mainly me. How many fireballs can I throw at a time without messing up? We have no special, or at least no meter except the ultra, but I'm not going to use that. So my part of training is I try to fill up one of the bars, right? And once I do, then throw an EX fireball. That means that I've reached, you know, I reached a good goal. Okay, so I mean, you can do this up to however levels you want. You can throw fireballs consistently, reach all the way to like level 4, and then super. You know, that's like the ultimate. Like you're freaking fireball execution master. So let's try it. See, I messed up right there, and because of that, I have to restart. Uh-oh. Yeah. Execution. This is the things that you have to practice. So what I'm looking at is the middle of the screen. I did the input, but it wouldn't come out in my end, but so I'm kind of failing right now. See, these are the things that you really need to practice, because if you're an aspiring Ryu player and you get into this battle right here, you gotta have balls. And not saying that everything is gonna go your way, but when it counts, it counts. But okay, so I failed pretty hard here, but if I were to do this probably for the next 20-30 minutes, because I've been playing a lot of cross-Tekken lately, so I'm not really dealing with fireballs much, but this is condition training, so that every time I have a fireball set up, I can count that I'm not going to miss my rhythm, or if somebody's going to counter fireball me, I'm going to be aligned with them. So if you think that you're good at throwing fireballs, try this little game, okay? Because you're going to play against somebody that never misses a fireball, right? And you're going to try to go toe-to-toe with his fireball. Why do you think certain people win the fireball war? You know, why do you think like people can walk into your fireballs because you hesitate, you know? And some people, you think, like, if you're like, a good example, if you're playing against John Choi and you're thinking, damn, he's got amazing fireball and zoning game. It's because his fireball is his fireball game is flawless, you know, and way better than mine. You know, he can probably play this game with his eyes closed. But because I focus on a lot of footsie stuff, and but this one is probably my weakest game out of the other elements that I bring to the table when it comes to a Shoto match. You know, my fireball game is pretty decent, but compared to the OGs like, you know, Mike and John and Tomo and all those great players, it's not to their level yet, because they've been they've been playing this game longer, but they've dedicated themselves to perfection when it comes to execution. So this little game, let's see if I can actually try to win it on. Almost. Oh. I stutter step there, but yeah, without taking too much time, all I'm trying to do is get to level 1 meter and then throw an EX, and that shows me that I can throw about 20 fireballs without messing up, or at the same rhythm as a, you know, somebody that doesn't mess up their fireball execution. So and what I'm doing with this execution, I double tap. So the double tap, you know, you hit the button twice. So that way that by the time that you reach quarter circle forward and you're pushing the button, you're making sure that you're inputting it in enough times until the command is ready to come out. Because if you push it once, I mean, sometimes you might push it too early or too late, and the command won't come out. So that's why I double tap. Some people, however method works for you, it's fine, but that's the method I use when it comes to fireballs. So with every strength of fireball too: jab, strong, and fierce, which is light punch, heavy, medium punch, and heavy punch. So this is something that after I'm done with the show that I'm gonna probably do this literally for an hour or so until I get level 4 meter and I'm ready to go, because that's just something that I have to practice. So, and oh, if you guys are wondering how to set this up, it's actually pretty hard to set this up to because okay, you have to set the dummy to record, and then I'm not gonna do it now, but you restart, and you know it says round 1 fight. As soon as you see the the 10-second timer like right about to go to 9, that's where you throw the fireball, right? Because if you try to throw it early, you'll do an uppercut or a fierce will come out, and it's tricky. And then it's pretty much you have to throw a perfect fireball, like as soon as you can, and then pause it before the fireball even like comes out, and then you set it to playback, and then you restart. So, but the thing is, if you don't throw a perfect fireball, sometimes, meaning that if you crouch ahead of time, you're gonna throw the fireball slower. So you're gonna have to practice it. It took me a while. It took me like at least quite a few minutes to get it right. It's pretty tough. But this is something that you guys should really, with all your special moves. If sonic booms are pretty easy too. Practice your sonic boom timings, your flash kicks, right? You count if you want to use the count method, 1, 2, flash kick or whatever. Or those are really good things that you should really train for, because again, the last thing you want to do is not get your special move to come out, and it sucks. So, okay, that's like the special move execution I just wanted to talk about. It'll get more advanced from here. So let's take it to that level right now. Oh, I'm gonna turn this off. No. All right. So another thing about execution that's important besides the specials that I already went over, you want to practice. So you got your specials down. You want to practice your combos, right? What is your optimal combos? And so everybody, when people think of Ryu, they want to do. Sorry about that. They want to do that crouching fierce uppercut, right? So, okay, pretty much that combo, right? Now, it is a high-level combo. A lot of you can do it consistently. Some of you can't, like myself, consistently. Is it absolutely necessary? Sometimes, not really. Sometimes, meaning that if you can get the win with it, it differentiates, good players from great players, at the time of need. If they can perform that in the tournament, and it's going to win them the round and all that stuff, that's great. That's awesome, But what if you never get the opportunity to use it? Is it that bad that you can't perform it? Maybe there's the fail-safe way is just doing that. If you can get this 100% of the time, but can only do. See, I'm even messing this up. See, like I can't even get it right now, like because I haven't practiced it in a while. This is something that you have to practice. Okay, that's easier, but the uppercut, not even plinking right. So, but you understand what I'm saying, though. Like, if that's a combo that I'm not practicing that much, and it might cost me the game, why keep doing it? Let me turn off stun. Oh wow, look, it took me what? Like 20 times to get it. Oh, now I get it back to back now, right? 3 times in a row? Are you serious? Okay, how about this side? Oh, okay. So there you go. No, 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 no. Now, how you think of combos in execution? Combos are great. High damage output combos, phenomenal, awesome, sure. You still gotta get the opportunity to land them. 1, 2. What if you don't? And depending on how, if you're going into training mode and you're practicing the easier combos to make sure that you get those right, I think that's really important. You know, especially like this. I mean, that's because you get this opportunity a lot, right? Yeah. So it's not completely mandatory that you have to do the highest damage output combo, but I mean, there are players that can land them most of the time. You know, it can cost you the game for you to mess up that one time, and that's why you don't really see me do that combo a lot. I just do that because I know that I can land this, you know, 99 or 98% of the time. You know, I did suffer in the beginning, always botching that up. I would get, you know, the EX uppercut right after it, like that part, right? Refill. There we go. Yeah. So see, I used to always do that because I did it too fast. Like that, right? I'm not actually trying to do the ultra, but the main reason that I always get the EX out is because I'm doing it too fast. In tournament play, you got the blood glowing, and you want to land your combos, right? But you know, sometimes your hands are like in the middle of like doing all your great strategy or setups and stuff, and you get the opportunity to like, all right, here's my easy combo, right? Oh crap! What happened? What happened? So that's why you have to think about like, all right, what are my max output combos, max damage output combos that I can do? What are my easier combos I can do that still do pretty decent damage? You know, what's the percentage of me landing this combo? Okay. And I mean, at first, you may be the guy that can only do the intermediate combos. Maybe like me, you know, my combo ability in this game, because I don't practice it often, is probably medium compared to many other top players out there. However, you know, the strategy-wise, my strategy is probably the highest out of many of the top players out there. And strategy part we'll get into, but in relation to execution, I'm going to always do the the damage combo that I can land consistently. And yeah, that can hurt me in a way where I can't finish the guy off, but that's the decision I made. Until I can perfect the max damage output combo, until I can master that, like 99% of the time, well, you bet I'm gonna go for it. But it's really not a good idea to do that if you can't even land it, you know, 50% of the time. You're gonna kill yourself. You just are. So, okay. So you get the max damage output combo, all right, or your intermediate combo, or your how about combos that lead into a strategy or something like that. And what I mean by that, because you're playing a game for, you know, the rounds are between what, you know, 30, 45 seconds, a minute, okay? and you're constantly moving, and you're thinking about like a million things that are happening to you, right? You get your opportunity, you know, you get the guy knocked down. So in relation to execution, you have to have some timing with the combos that you're going to do or going to prepare for, right? And what I mean by that is usually what are you going to do if your cross-up is blocked or if it's hit, the hit confirm part? You got to know which combo you're going to do or which attack string you're going to do in relation to execution, if it hits or if it's blocked. Okay? So the computer is not blocking right now. Here, let's here. Okay, so if I jump in with a jumping medium kick, right? You know, you pick a combo. You can do just any of the combos that you think that you're going to land, no problem, right? But if it's blocked, then what are you going to do? Are you going to go for the same kind of like combo starter, which means like crouching strong into or crouching fierce into whatever, or are you going to switch it up and time something else? So you really got to think about what you're going to do next, either if it's going to hit or if you're going to get a hit or if it's blocked. And a lot of people don't see, you know, much value into it yet because they just want to do their safe damage combo that they normally land, which is what? Jumping medium kick, crouching medium kick, fireball, which is the very basic of the basic, right? So, oh, it's blocked, I'm just going to continue that because it's safe, right? But if you can time it to where you know that your move is getting blocked, why not go for a setup from there? So those are the things that you have to think about too. A lot of people just are too worried about landing their combo that they've been practicing and training mode all day long. But if it gets blocked, then what are you going to do? Are you going to continue that same pressure with those same buttons? So if you already know this, okay, see, like what I'm trying to do here, say my combo that I wanted to do from the get-go was jumping medium kick, crouching strong, crouching medium kick, fireball, right? Like very easy combo. But if it's blocked, I don't want to do that because then I'm missing an opportunity where I can get damage down the road. So before we get into strategy, those are things that you should think about too. All right. So we went over your max damage output, doing your special moves over and over. Make sure that they're flawless. All right. But you may laugh, but we see a lot of input errors all over. I make a lot of input errors because we're not practicing. I'm not practicing the special moves over and over as I should. But it is what it is. Okay, and you button those things up, you're gonna do much better in the tournament. The damage combos, if you can do the max damage output combo, great. You're gonna wow everybody. You're gonna be like, dude, that guy's sick. He can do, fierce uppercut all the time. Awesome. But even if you know the intermediate combos or whatever that don't do as much damage, but you can land it 100% of the time, you're gonna do great in tournaments. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you guys are like mentioning Marlon Pie. Yeah, he's probably one of the best execution artists, I call him. In the game these days, that guy's execution is out of this world. And but the thing is, everybody knows he's a lab monster. He's in the lab doing these things for however many hours until he can just do it with his eyes closed, which I've seen him do crazy doom combos with his eyes closed. So shout outs to Marlon Pie and for wowing us for all the awesome execution things that you can do. But yeah, A lot of the great players out there these days, they can do phenomenal things, but they also, some of them do mess up still. And those mess ups, as long as it doesn't cost them the game, I call that lucky. If it doesn't cost them the game, it's lucky, because you should know better. If you're going to go for a combo, again, if you do a combo that you can only get 50-60% of the time and it costs you the game, who's there to blame? Nobody but yourself. It's you just trying to show off, and it's not going to cut it. So, okay. There's not much else to learn with execution. It's just get your moves on right. Pick the combos that you're going to land 90 to 100% of the time, and then knowing which combo to do, or leading on to the next segment, strategy. If something is blocked, what to do next. So speaking of which, we are going to go into the next segment, which is strategy, and this is where the fun stuff begins. So I'm going to take a little break. When we come back, let's talk about some strategy.